I'm going to read Alice in Wonderland. This is the last chapter, chapter 9. It takes 2 hours 15 minutes for me to read Alice in Wonderland. Each chapter has 15 minutes, so there are 9 chapters. So, and 4 chapters has 1 hour. 1 hour. Okay, here you go. I'm going to read the last chapter, chapter 9. Alice's journey is very interesting. She fell into the hole and reached the Wonderland, where Rabbit, Caterpillar, and the Queen lived. So it's quite interesting story, and I'm thinking about a reading program. I didn't finish yet. I read it just chapter 8. There are more chapters. 9. Okay, I'm going to read the 9. I misunderstood. There are more chapters. No, Mock Turtle Story. You can't think how glad I am to see you again, you dear old thing, said the Duchess, as she tucked her arm affectionately into Alice's. They walked off together. Alice was very glad to find her in such a pleasant temper, thought herself that perhaps it was only the pepper that had made her so savage when they met in the kitchen. When I am a duchess, she said to herself, not in a very hopeful tone though, I won't have any pepper in my kitchen at all. Soup does very well without, and maybe it's always the pepper that makes people hot-tempered. She went on, very much pleased at having found out a new kind of room, and vinegar that makes them some sours, and chamomile that makes them bitter, and barley sugar is the thing that makes children sweet and tempered. I wishes people knew that they wouldn't be so stingy about it, you know. She had quite forgotten the Duchess by this time, and was a little startled when she heard her voice close to her ear. You are thinking about something, my dear, and that makes you forget to talk. I can't tell you just now what the moral of that is, but I shall remember it in a bit. Perhaps it hasn't won, Alice ventured to remark. Child, said the Duchess, harvesting got her more, if only you can find it, and she squeezed herself up closer to Alice's side as she spoke. Alice did not much like keeping so close to her, first because the Duchess was very ugly, and secondly because she was exactly like to her to rest her chin upon Alice's shoulder, and it was an uncomfortably sharp chin. However, she didn't like to be rude, so she bore it as well as she could. The game's going on rather better now, she said, by way of keeping up the conversation a little. So, and said the Duchess, and the more that is, oh, this love, that makes the world go round. Somebody said. Alice whispered, that's done by everybody minding their own business. Ah, well, it means much the same thing, and the Duchess, digging her sharp little chin into Alice's shoulders, that she added, and the moral of that is, take care of the sense, and the sounds will take care of themselves. How fun she is of finding more and things, Alice thought herself. I dare say you're wondering why I don't put my arm around your waist, the Duchess said after a pause. The reason is that I am not first about to improve your flamingo. Shall I try to experiment? He might bite, Alice cautiously replied, not feeling at all anxious to have the experiment tried. Very true, said the Duchess. Flamingo and the mustard both bite at the moors, the berries, the birds of pedestal flocks together. Only mustard isn't a bird, Alice remarked as light as usual, said the Duchess. Well, clear the way you have all the footings, things is minerals. I think said Alice. Of course it is, the Duchess, who seemed ready to agree to everything that Alice said. There is a largest mustard mine here, and the more there is, the more there is of mine, the less there is of yours. Why not? Exclaimed Alice, who had not attended to this last remark. It's better. It doesn't look like one, but it is. I quite agree with you, said the Duchess. The more there is and be what you would seem to be, or if you'd like it to put more simply, never imagine yourself not to be otherwise than what you might appear to others that what you were or might have been was not otherwise than what you had been would have appeared to them to be otherwise. I think I just understand that better. Alice said very politely, if I hadn't it written down, but I can't quite follow it as you say it. That's nothing to what I could say if I chose. The Duchess replied in a pleased tone. Pray, don't trouble yourself to say it any longer than that, said Alice. Hey, don't talk about trouble, said the Duchess. I make you too pleasant of everything I've said as that. The chief thought pleasant, thought Alice. I'm glad they don't give birthdays presents like that, but she did not venture to say it out loud. Thinking again, the Duchess asked, with another beat of her sharp little chin. I'm all right, think, said Alice sharply, for she was beginning to feel a little worried. Just about as much right, said the Duchess, as pigs have to fly, and then, But here, to Alice's great surprise, the Duchess' voice died away, even in the middle of her favorite word more, and the arm that was linked into hers began to tremble. Alice looked up, and there stood the King in front of them, with her arms folded, frowning like a thunderstorm. Fine day, your Majesty, the Duchess began in a low, weak voice. Now I give you fair warning, shouted the King, stamping on the ground as she spoke. Either you or your head must be off, and not in about half no time. Take your choice. The Duchess took her choice and was gone in a moment. Let's go on with the game, the Queen said to Alice, and Alice was too much frightened to say a word, and but slowly followed her back to the crooked ground. The other guests had taken advantage of the Queen's absence and were resting in the shade. However, the moment they saw her, they hurried back to the game, the Queen merely remarking in that moment that delays would cost them their lives. All the time they were playing, the Queen never left off and quarreling with the other players and shouting up with his head, or out with his head, and those whom she sentenced were taken into custody by the soldiers, who of course had to leave off being arcs to do this, so that by the end of half an hour or so there were no arcs left, and all the players except the King, the Queens, and Alice were in custody and under sentence of execution. Then the King left off, quite out of breath, and said to Alice, "Have you seen the mock turtle yet?" "No," said Alice. "I don't even know what a mock turtle is." "It's the thing mock turtle soup is made from," said the King. "I've saw one, heard of one," said Alice. "Come on then," said the King, "and I shall tell you his history." As they walked off together, Alice heard the King say in a low voice, "To the company, generally, you are all frightened. Come, that's good thing." She said herself, but she had felt quite unhappy at the number of executions the King had ordered. and the reason came upon a griffon lying fast asleep in the sun. If you don't know what a griffon is, look at the picture of Lady Thing, said the king. And take this young lady to see the Mock Turtle and to hear a story. I must go back and see after some execution I have all. And she walked off and leaving Alice alone with the griffon. Alice did not quite like the look of the creatures, but on the whole she thought it would be quite as safe to stay with it as just go after the savage queen. So she waited. The griffon sat up and lowered its eyes, and then it watched the queen till she was out of sight. Then it chuckled. "What fun," said the griffin, half to itself, half to Alice. "What's the fun?" said Alice. "Why, she," said the griffin with all her fancy, "that they never execute nobody, you know. Come on." Everybody says, "Come on, here." So Alice that she went slowly after it. I never was so older about all my life, never. When they had not gone too far before they saw the Mock Turtle in the distance, sitting sad and lonely on a little glass-shaped log, and as they came nearer, Alice could hear him sighing that if his heart would break, and she pictured him deeply. "What is so?" she asked the griffins, and the griffins answered very nearest in the same words as before. "It's all his fancies that he wasn't gone, not so. You know, come on." So they went on to the Mock Turtle, who looked at them with lordy eyes full of tears, but said nothing. "This here young lady," said the griffin, "she wants to fall to knows your story, she do." "I'll tell it her," said the Mock Turtle in a deep, hollow tone. "Sit down, both of you, and don't speak a word until I've finished it." They sat down, and nobody spoke for some minutes. I thought to herself, "I don't see how he can even finish. If he doesn't begin," but she waited patiently. "One said the Mock Turtle at last. But it sighed, I was a real turtle." These words followed by a very long silence, broken only by occasional exclamation of from the griffins and the concerns, absorbing of the Mock Turtles, as was very nearly getting up and saying, "Thank you, sir, for your interesting story." But she could not help thinking there must be more to come. So she sat and said nothing. Said nothing. So when we were little, the Mock Turtles went on at last, more calmly, and still solving the little hours, and then we went to schools in the sea. Master was on all turtles, so we used to call him Tortoise. "Why did you call him Tortoise, if he wasn't one?" Alice asked. "We call him Tortoise because he taught us." "Tortoise," said the Mock Turtle angrily. "Really, you are very dull. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for asking such a simple question," added the griffin. And then they both sat silent. Look at the polite Alice. She felt ready to sink into her earth. At last, the griffin started to remark her on the old fellow isn't the old days about it, and he went on in these words. "Yeah, we went to school in the sea, and those you may not believe it." Adam said, "I didn't," interrupt Alice. "You did," said the Mock Turtle. "Hold your tongue," added the griffin before I could speak again. The Mock Turtle went on to have the best education. In fact, we went to school every day. "I've been to the school too," said Alice. "You needn't be so proud at all that." "With experts?" asked the Mock Turtle a little anxiously. "Yes," said Alice. "We learned the French and music." "And washing," said the Mock Turtle. "Certainly not," said Alice indignantly. "And then yours and wasn't yours good school," said the Mock Turtle in a tone of great relief. Now at ours they had at the end of the bill the French music and washing extra. "You couldn't have one too much," said Alice. "Living at the bottom of the sea, I couldn't afford to learn it," said the Mock Turtle with a sigh. "I only took the regular course." "What was that?" inquired Alice. Reading, of course, to begin with," the Mock Turtle replied, and then on the different branches of the arithmetic, ambition, distraction, uglification, and delusion. "I've never heard of the uglification," Alice ventured to say. "Who's it?" The griffin lifted up the both its paws in surprise. "What? Never heard of the uglifying?" it exclaimed. "You know what to beautify is, I suppose." Yes, said Alice. Thoughtfully means to make anything prettier. Well, then the difference went on. If you don't notice what I believe why it is, you're a simpleton. You're a simpleton. Alice didn't feel encouraged to ask any more questions about it, so he turned to the Mock Turtle and said, "What else have you to learn?" "Well, there was mystery," the Mock Turtle replied, counting up the subject on his flappers, mystery ancient and modern, with geography and drawing. The drawing masters was on all the Kungyo ears, and that used the common story. It taught us drawing, stretching, and painting in chords. "What are they like?" said Alice. "Well, I can't show it to you myself. The Mock Turtle says the arm too stiff, and the Griffin never rented. Sometimes, said the Griffin, I went to classic masters that thought he was an old craft he was. I never went to him. The Mock Turtle says to the side. He told, laughing and breathing, they used to so it said did, so he did, and said the Griffin signing in his terms, and both creatures that he and they faced in their force, and how many hours a day did you know the lessons? Said Alice, in a hurry to change the subject. 10 hours the first day, said the Mock Turtle, 9 the next, and so on. What a curious plan, exclaimed Alice. I asked the leading day to call lessons, and the Griffin so remarked because they listened from day to day. This was quite a new idea to Alice, and she thought it over so little before she made her next remark. Then the 11th day must have been a holiday. Of course it was, said the Mock Turtle. And how did the manager on the turf? Alice went on eagerly. That's enough about lessons, the Griffin interrupted in a very decided tone. Tell her something about the games now. I got more 2 chapters? 3 chapters. There are 12. Yeah, 3 chapters more. I misunderstood. There are 12 chapters in Alice in the Wonderland.